3 episodes of Attack on Titan to talk about today because I spent all day yesterday on both the remastered version of Your Idol and putting out the full album. So, please excuse me for rushing these next few, but I just want to get caught up and already back on schedule, okay? So, let's fly through this nice and quick. What's up, what's happening, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to me, Situation for Anything Animation, including humanity's fight against the Titans for survival, as well as TV, movies, and anime. I'm your host, Jackson Small, your local anime fanatic. Season 2, Episode 5, aka Episode 30, Historia. Overview, summary, let's go. Oh, amazing episode, by the way. Let's go. In a 104th training exercise, the cadets notice that 3 people are missing. In the blizzard, Christa drags Daz through the snow. Ymir realizes that Christa is an illegitimate noble and sends her ahead whilst she takes Daz. At the base, Christa finds the others had miraculously survived. At Utgard, Ymir engages the Titans. During the fight, she tears down the tower and rescues the other recruits. So yeah, the tower finally falls. The Titans later emerge from the rubble and begin to devour Ymir until the scouts arrive and cut them down. After the battle, Christa tells Ymir her real name, Historia, which is probably what we're gonna start referring to her as going forward. Alright, summary. Here we go. Some years ago, the cadets of the 104th Cadet Corps complete a snowstorm training exercise, arriving at a base at the foot of a mountain. After some brief discussion among the cadets, Reiner announces that Christa is missing. Mikasa says Christa had chosen to stick with Daz, who was performing poorly, but Reiner says that Daz, as well as Ymir, have not returned. Marco suggests that she may be with Thomas's squad, but Reiner points out that his squad just completed their course, with Ymir, Daz, and Christa nowhere in sight. Worrying for their safety, Eren proposes organizing a search for them, and their training instructor says that a search will begin the next morning. Eren insists that it will be too late by then if they hold off on the search, but the instructor says that more cadet lives cannot be risked in the snowstorm. So, it's nice to see that Eren does care about his fellow cadets, but there's some times when you need to do that, and other times where you're just putting other people at risk. Elsewhere in the storm, Christa and Ymir make their way through a forest with Daz unconscious and a cop pulled by Christa, probably dying from frostbite. Ymir says that they will only survive if they abandon Daz and head for the base together, but Christa insists that they all survive if Ymir goes ahead alone while Christa takes Daz. Ymir notices that Christa has not asked for help during this entire course, and she realizes that Christa has no intention of saving Daz nor herself. She says that it would be very against Christa's character to bring about Daz's death while searching for her own heroic end, but Christa insists that such is not the case. Ymir brings up the fact that she is aware of Christa's true past, a daughter of a nobleman's mistress whose life was at risk. I can't speak English today. Recalling her days before training, Ymir reveals that while in the interior, she overheard the Order of the Walls discussing Christa's existence. Such an illegitimate child could not be properly succeeded to the head of the family. They had considered ending her life. Horrible on their end. But in the end, it was decided that it would be enough to give her a new name and an inconspicuous life, eventually leading to her joining the Cadet Corps. Christa wonders if Ymir joined the Cadet Corps in order to find her, and Ymir proposes that it may be due to her own past being similar. Christa wonders if Ymir originally wanted to befriend her, but Ymir says that they are nothing alike. Unlike Christa, Ymir kept her old name after starting a new life, and abandoning her name would just be admitting defeat, as she puts it. By living for herself, she robs her enemies of their power. Ymir scolds Christa for looking for death rather than directing her feelings towards her enemies, and Christa says that there is no longer any way for all 3 of them to survive this mission. In other words, Christa's trying to commit suicide. I'm just saying what is being clearly told here. Ymir leads Christa to a cliff overlooking the base of the foot of the mountain and proposes tossing Daz over the edge so that she and Christa can make it to base alive while Daz can be searched for later. When Christa objects, Ymir takes matters into her own hands, says she's had enough of the bullshit, and throws her aside into a snowbank. Ymir wanders off while Christa is submerged in the snow that has fallen from a tree that she ran into on her way down, and there is a flash of light in the distance. When Christa escapes from the snow and returns to the cliff, Ymir and Daz are nowhere to be found. Back at base, Eren prepares to head outside in search for the others. But Mikasa and Armin decide to help. Rainer and Bertolt also decide to join, bringing more equipment for the trip. Connie, Marco, and Sasha agree to come along as well. Suddenly, a loud crash like thunder is heard outside, and the cadets head outside to investigate, whatever. In the distance, Sasha spots Ymir dragging Daz through the snow. Sometime later, Christa arrives and spots Ymir outside the base. She asks about Daz, and Ymir shows her that Daz is safe indoors. Upon looking at the cliff from the ground, Christa sees that such a descent would have been impossible to do without a rope. Obviously, foreshadowing that Ymir is a Titan and should use her supernatural ability to get down the cliff. Ymir decides to reveal to Christa how she saved Daz, but only if she promises to live by her true name when the secret eventually becomes known to everyone. Years later, now at Utgard Castle, Ymir leaps into a horde of Titans below. Ymir thinks to herself that she and Christa were the same in their youth, hated by the world and believing that things would be better had they not been born. To bring happiness to many people, Ymir gave up her life, but upon receiving a second chance, she decided to live only for herself. Slitting her palm with Connie's knife, she triggers the power of the Titans and transforms into her own Titan form. I don't know what kind of Titan that they call this, but I'm just going to call it an abnormal for the sake of simplicity. Ymir's Titan descends into the horde and begins slaughtering Titans one after the other. From atop the tower, the other recruits look on in disbelief at the scene. Rainer and Bertolt stare in horror as they recognize Ymir's Titan as the one that ate their friend 5 years ago. Which, this is going to become more important later because there's a reveal coming about those two in the next episode. Ymir's combat shakes the tower and Christa nearly falls, but Rainer catches her in the nick of time. She thanks him, but in a moment of disassociation, he keeps her grip on Krista's ankle, unconsciously squeezing her. After Christa and Connie eventually snap Rainer out of it, he asks Christa if she was aware of Ymir's powers. She claims that she never knew, despite how close they were, and Rainer realizes that Ymir possesses knowledge the rest of humanity in the walls does not. Connie says that Ymir was seemingly aware of her powers, but unlike Eren when his Titan form first appeared in Trost. The recruits begin to wonder where Ymir's allegiances lie and what her goals are. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. She jumped in to save Christa and the other recruits. I mean, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out she's actually on the good side despite being a Titan. Just like Eren. Ymir's fight with the Titans begins to go downhill as she is overpowered. She clutches to the bricks of the tower, but lets go after the bricks begin to slip. The others realize that Ymir does not want the tower to fall, and that she is protecting them rather than escaping. Christa cries out to Ymir, scolding her for her selflessness. She tells her to live for herself and destroy the tower if that's what it takes to defeat the Titans. Hearing Krista's words, Ymir begins to tear down the tower, throwing bricks and rubble at the Titans. As the tower begins to collapse, Ymir leaps to the top and tells the others to grab onto her if they want to live. Ymir's Titan finds a safe position atop the tower as it collapses on top of the horde, crushing many of them beneath the rubble, but does not kill them. After the dust clears, some Titans begin to emerge from the rubble. Ymir returns to the fight, but her Titan is quickly outnumbered and overpowered as more Titans climb out of the stone. The Titans rush her and begin to eat away at her Titan, tearing it apart as the recruits stand by unable to help, causing her to lose an arm and a leg. Christa begins running to Ymir, calling out to her and reminding her of their promise. Christa stops in her tracks when a Titan turns a corner in front of her and reaches out, when suddenly a scout flies by and slices the Titan's nape. None other than Mikasa. Tells the other recruits to stand aside while the scout regiment finishes the battle. And for those of you that watched Chiseled Adonis, this is the scene that he uses whenever the Titans are getting destroyed in the actual NFL season. Just a cute little Easter egg for you, if you watch Chiseled Adonis. Also, if you watch Chiseled, that scene from episode 1 where the Beast Titan throws the horse, he uses that to visualize the Broncos sucking too. So it's funny how he uses 2 clips from the same season. That is legit. That's funny to me. I always thought they were like from 2 separate seasons. The Titans are overwhelmed as the scouts from the assault on Stohess finally arrive at Utgard with Section Commander Hanji leading the charge. Hanji tells them to disperse and canvass the area, and for the rest of them to follow them to the Titans' gathering and cut them down. Eren flies ahead against orders and slices the nape of a Titan, his first official kill as a human soldier with ODM gear. Congrats, dude. It only took you 30 freaking episodes to finally kill a Titan, without using your Titan form. Kiji scolds Eren for rushing ahead, and the other recruits rush to Eren's side to reunite with their friend, as when he did that, his ODM hooks clash with each other, causing him to stumble to the ground. Because, he got arrogant. In little time, the ruins of Utgard are cleared of all Titans. When the battle is over, the newcomers are shocked to learn of Ymir's Titan powers. Christa comes to Ymir, her limbs missing and her body grievously wounded from her Titan battle, and she keeps her promise. Christa reveals her true name, Historia, and Ymir slips into unconsciousness with a warm smile, but does not die. Let me say that right up front. She does not die. They frame it like she dies, but next episode, we find out she's just unconscious, so... yeah, it's just unconsciousness. She's knocked out because, as we all know, Titans can also regenerate. They can regenerate. Since I can't freaking talk today. Okay. Before we go, I'm going to give a quick little shout out to the two voice actresses for these characters. Saki Fujita for Ymir and Shiori Mikami for Christa / Historia. These two, amazing all throughout the episode. And of course, Bryce being Bryce. Bryce being Eren Yeager. It's always funny to me that Eren Yeager is voiced by Cat Noir of all people. I don't know why, I just find that really funny. Alright, now it is time for the final verdict and overall thoughts. Sorry, I know I'm a bit scatterbrained today, but like I said, I have to rush a little, so please excuse me. Alright. One of the most emotionally powerful episodes of the season, as we see how Ymir and Christa bonded in the most unlikely of ways during a snowy trek for their 104th Cadet Corps training, and how they both made each other stronger as Ymir risks her life to save her friends at Castle Utgard, almost to being completely devoured and losing 2 of her limbs until Eren and his squadron come to the rescue, with Eren finally getting his first Titan kill with his ODM gear. Again, dude, it only took you 30 episodes and, well, dying the first time. All leading up to a touching ending where Christa tells Ymir her real name is Historia, bringing her comfort as she falls unconscious from her injuries, but again, does not die, because she's a Titan and Titans can regenerate. This is easily one of Season 2's strongest episodes, especially the writing, which is much sharper than most of the season, and considering how most of the season has been great so far, that's saying something. And of course the added bonus of absolute brutality as Ymir's Titan form is ripped apart. You know me, I'm always going to give you bonus points if you actually show gore on screen. Its one and only flaw is the pacing being erratic, with spending a little over half of the episode on the backstory, leaving too little time for the actual battle to be fully fleshed out. That was my one and only disappointment, because after they did the whole flashback scene, they go straight into the battle, and then it feels like it's already over. I don't know, I feel like they could have paced that maybe just a little bit better. But that's just me. I still think this episode's fantastic regardless, because of the emotional bond and the great character development on display here for these two. And from what I've heard, their relationship only gets even stronger as the show goes on, so that's a pretty cool thing too. Final verdict for this episode is a high and very well-deserved 9 out of 10, easily making it one of the best of the season. Well, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below on this episode or on Season 2 in general. But please, no spoilers in the comments section. And I'll see you guys next time for Season 2, Episode 6, Warrior. Deciding for what comes up ahead.